Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. You're watching IPO Adda, and the IPO in focus today is Mankind Pharma. The company is coming out with an IPO on April 25th. It closes on 27th. If the price band of 1026 and 1080. At the upper end of the price band, the company is valued at over 43,000 odd crores. The issue comprises of 4 crores of OFS, which gives the IPO size of over 4,300 crores. And joining me is Rajeev Juneja, Chairman and Managing Director of Mankind Pharma. Ms. Juneja, thank you very much for joining us on BQ Prime. My first question to you is that, it's a 4,300 odd crores IPO. Uh, does Mankind Pharma need any cash for future growth, or is it just exit for existing private equity players?
Mankind, thank you very much. First of all, we never needed cash. We're a debt-free, cash-rich company always. This basically is to give exit to our existing investors, Capital International and Risk Capital. That's one reason this IPO is coming. It was our commitment to our existing investors, and that's one reason.
Mm-hmm.
This process has been started.
You're one of the leading players in the domestic pharma industry. Give me a sense of how competitive landscape is there in this industry, because considering that 97% of your sales is focused on domestic industry, uh, how does it look from a pricing and competitive landscape point of view?
If you look at Mankind, we've always been focused towards India. Always looked India as our biggest market. And if you're talking about the share price, after extensive working by our bankers, we met financial institutes, we met domestic fund houses. After a lot of discussion, deliberations, bankers came to the conclusion that this should be price banned, and we all concur, and that's one reason. Whatever the price is in the range of 1,026 to 1,080, 1,080, 13 share in a multiple of 13 shares. This is what basically has been decided. This is all bankers' extensive discussion with financial institutes, foreign and Indian domestic.
Hmm. What has been the CAGR growth for you in terms of revenues? Because last year you did roughly 7,781 crores in top line. Your margins were around 25 odd percent EBITDA margins. In the first 9 months, we saw roughly 6,700 crores of revenues on the top line, but the margins have slipped by nearly 300 basis points to 22 odd percent. Uh, where are we on the margins thing? Where is the pressure coming from on the margins?
So we all know when whatever some kind of impact came because of this COVID, China, Ukraine war, all sort of things were there. As a whole industry went through this phase, so we are also no exception to that. That's one reason this has come. But we are a kind of a company, absolutely domestic, India focus, growing 1.3 times than the Indian pharma industry. The consumer side, pharma side, we have some iconic brands like Man Force, Dragon News, and we are doing good.
But the pressure, where is it coming from? Because if I can read through the RHP, it says that a large part of your raw materials come from India. You source it within the country, and you are domestically focused because 97% of it comes from the domestic is focused on the domestic market. So, is this pressure on margins to continue, or there is a way it will go up back to 25 odd percent?
So I cannot, comment on this right now because we are binded by some regulations. So anything outside the RSP, it would difficult for me to speak about.
Okay, I get that. But what was the reason for fall of margins?
We live in a very opulent world. It was all,
Um,
the whole industry went through that. We all know that margins went down because in the past, because of COVID, this China shut down, some war was there, so it was all because of that.
mhm. What about manufacturing? Because you have nearly 25 odd facilities in India, but you also do third parties sourcing as well of many of the some of the products. As a company, what is the kind of strategy that you have with respect to in-house manufacturing as well as third-party manufacturing?
75% manufacturing of India of mankind happens in-house, and there's a reason for that. The reason number one basically is that we can really control highest standard of quality. That's one reason. As far as more expansion is concerned in our factories, no, we don't need that. Uh, as far as third party 25% manufacturing is concerned, it is keeping certain opportunities in mind. If you want to launch some new product faster and some other third party has got the license, we go for that. But endeavor somehow is to bring everything in-house to ensure that in time supplies can happen, the quality can be maintained to the highest level. That has always been our endeavor.
Mm-hmm. You've grown organically well, but you've also taken route of inorganic growth, whether it's acquiring portfolio from Dr. Reddy or from Panisha. And Panisha was the latest one where I think you acquired it for over 2,200 odd crores, if I'm not wrong. Can you give us an idea of what kind of uh, contribution that new acquisitions are making to the top line of the company?
So whenever we take this kind of a decision, we always keep companies' interest in mind and clients' interest in mind in terms of that whatever we are taking should complement the range of mankind. And second thing basically is long-term advantages of that. The third basically is can we do the same thing organically or not? When we saw that these things cannot be done, then we went for these things. And to speed up the process of entering those segments in which mankind was not present. This is what basically a reason, whatever we acquired with keeping these interests of mankind in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, if you look at the history of mankind, we've always been a kind of a company believed in our own strengths, grown organically. This is the first time we have done it. But again, keeping interest of mankind in mind.
Which are the segments within uh, the pharma where you would like to enter and it's open for more opportunities?
In the last couple of years, we have focused on chronic side. Last 10 years time, when we saw ourselves around in 2017, 17 years back rather, 17 years back, our market share was quite less in chronic side. Today it stands at 34%. So look at the interest of mankind as far as the chronic side is concerned. We are growing 1.4 times to pharma industry. How the pharma industry is doing, we are growing faster than that. So our interest lies over there. Lies for chronic side, lies for consumer side.
Is there a strategy to expand your consumer side of business as well?
Absolutely, sir. Why not?
How do you
That
see
adds
that business
substantially
growing?
to the growth. It's doing quite good. Look at this Manforce condoms. Manforce condom is India's number one brand, 30% market share. Dragon News, number one pregnancy card, 80% market share. Unwanted 72. Again, 60% plus kind of a approximately market share. So Acme Star is number two brand in its category. Get So Fast is doing good. look at all the brands of consumer side, they're really gaining good market share.
Hmm. Since you're domestically focused, I want to know your view on nutraceuticals market, because a lot of emphasis has been put on that market by many companies. Are you also looking at aggressively in that market? What kind of role you see for your company there going forward? Maybe I know you can make forward looking, but how do you see the opportunity there?
We are always look at everything from our own angles, not what everybody else is doing. We have always been a contrarian company, but logical. One product of ours, Health OK, that is multivitamin minerals. Uh, we are working from last 2 3 years. We have brought that from our one of the division, Pharma division, to our consumer division, working on that side. But everything on the basis of opportunity as a whole. What we see that product would fit in mankind's portfolio, we'll go for that. Not on the basis of what market is saying. Yes, we keep our ears on the market, keep listening things, but see, if everybody is moving one direction, we should not move away from the crowd.
What has been your overseas strategy with respect to markets like US, mature market like US, UK, European, and maybe Canada?
We are absolutely, I'm an India-focused company. Hardly any percent of our sale is export. Our belief is percent sales come 3% sales coming from export side. Until and unless we have some complex product to offer, some difficult to manufacture product to offer, where we can command, we will not go.
Mm-hmm.
We'll never go tactically. We'll always go wherever, in whichever area we enter. India, it would always be our majority, 95% plus. Uh, it should have some long-term strategy, not short-term tactical things. That today you take advantage, tomorrow you burn fingers. Will not go for that.
Okay. Uh, I'm also talking from a point of view of your filing, regulatory filings for new drugs. Um, nearly 55 of them which you have filed. How do you see market potential for those drugs? When do you, is there a pipeline of when these drugs are going to get introduced? There are some tentative approvals which already are in place, and some for which you have already got final approvals. How are they doing with respect to sales in this in market, since domestic is your focus?
We're always looking at the opportunities. We work on that. Always baby steps, because we're quite conscious of the fact that these are not our domain where we have expertise. We're quite expert, quite good in India side. So we keep our focus, majority of our focus in India.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
What about on the new chemical entity where you are already doing clinical one trials? How has been the results for them? What kind of potential you see for the diabetic drug which you are developing through your R&D?
When you look at R&D, it's a kind of a destination without any kind of a. It's journey without destination. But yes, we could crack one product after 9 years of good working by our scientists. Diet is strong. We became the second company in India to break that, and that gave us a lot of confidence that we are capable in R&D as well, because it was our long desire to do something in R&D, and we were very patient. As far as the new chemical entities are there, they are working. When one we are in phase one, and hope that this will be good. That's the only thing I can tell you right now, because in R&D, you cannot say anything on a concrete basis.
Can you give us a potential of the new chemical entity, which the diabetic drug? What kind of potential does it has in the market? Because that's one thing the market will be closely watching out for.
Look at this diabetes as a whole. how fast it is happening in India. Uh, so many undiagnosed patients are there. There is a potential for any product which comes in diabetology side. It can become successful, but it depends. I cannot predict about the future of a product which is in this uh, trial phase one. I cannot go for any kind of a prediction of that product.
But what does it drug do? I mean, from a uh, use point of view.
It's basically a novel product for diabetic patients, first time, and hopefully if we could crack it, if we could do it, we would be very excited.
Mhm. I just wanted to check on your borrowings point of view. I think 167, 180 crores, 170 crores of borrowings that you have. And those have gone up in the last couple of years, primarily because of higher working capital requirements. Uh, Give us a sense of when is this going to be the related, this going to be the level of working capital requirements going forward, and what kind of cash generation that you do so that this amount comes down.
See, I mean, when you look at this borrowing, I mean, if you see net, I mean, uh, deposit in mutual funds, companies, treasury, versus you look at this borrowing, you'll find you're always cash side. Uh, this was basically a kind of advantage borrowing versus the kind of interest we were getting from our investment in our treasury. And that's one reason you can see the borrowing is there. We are a cash-rich company. We generate good amount of cash every year. So never ever believe in borrowing.
Will that
So
change
net we
the mutual
always
fund
get it.
investments change given the kind of taxation that has now come in?
So I mean, that our financial guy, our CFO looks after. I mean, these are their domain, what to do, what not to do. We leave
Mm-hmm.
this on experts.
I just wanted to also check with you with respect to your capital requirements for the future. You said you're cash rich. Uh, how do you take mankind to the next level with respect to the growth trajectory? Because you're growing ahead of the industry, but um, is foreign or global markets any is that one of the ultimate goal where you can bring in your expertise to those global markets and increase your exports component there?
I mean, Norman, I explained you earlier as well. We have no interest in export. We are very happy what we are doing in India, and we see huge potential in India. Uh, we are expert in India. We feel ourselves very, very confident in India, and that's one reason. Despite of the fact that we had many opportunities in the past, we saw many companies going. We never went. We are very happy, doing quite good in India, and that would remain the course of action of mankind in future as well.
Mm-hmm. Any therapeutic areas where you would like to invest more going forward?
We have made our intentions very clear in last couple of years. We are continuously working very, very aggressively on chronic side. If you look at our growth in chronic side, it is 1.4 times to the industry growth. Today, we have 34% sales coming from our chronic side, hepatology, cardiology, neuropsychiatry, all sort of things. Everywhere we are present, respiratory. Uh, so whenever we saw opportunity in chronic side, we have gone for that. Uh, and this journey started 17 years back, the chronic side. And whatever we have achieved in chronic, this is out of 17 years of our work.
What about your exposure to DPCO? Because all domestic companies are exposed to it. 13.4% of your revenues are coming from NLEM drugs, which puts the cap on pricing. Of course, there is an annual increase based on inflation, and this year is going to be good because I think around 10% increase you may have gotten some of the pricing. But what I'm asking is that this cap is or this exposure to DPCO also brings is a challenge for domestic pharma companies looking to expand and bring new drugs into the market.
If you look at NELM side, mankind's portfolio, mankind is one company which has got lowest exposure to NELM, right? Number one. Number second, by default, we keep our prices very affordable. So whenever any kind of impact on NELM comes, it hardly impacts mankind. We are very, very conscious of the fact that we keep it lowest.
But still, you still have 13% of your revenues.
But you said yourself that every year we get advantage of
That's inflation based, right?
Pardon?
That's inflation based price hike, right?
Yeah, that's sufficient for us. That we're okay with that. We always kept, look at industry versus mankind, right? What is the industry and in them? Around 20%, right? Ours is 13%. So there's a difference.
Okay. Finally, your business in domestic market is dependent on a lot of field force, 11,000 odd crores of medical reps, and more than many what you call field managers there. How do you plan to use technology to improve your efficiency there in on for field staffs and field force?
No company can really progress without making organization as a whole technology enabled. It's impossible. We should always use. We are always very conscious and continuously working towards that side. But there is no substitute of in-person meetings. Like we're talking right now online versus if we talk to you in person, there's a difference. Yes, this during COVID time we learned leapfrog learning the use of technology. So we are quite good in that and moving very fast. And and we are a kind of a company which believes if something is good, we should be move very fast toward that side. Always been we have a bias for action, execution. So we are doing quite good, enabling our field to understand the use of technology and using it.
So how is it? You have nearly 14,000 crores, 14,000 people with respect to field force and field managers. What has been the growth rate for that force?
In last couple of years, we have increased more than 3,000 people, and during COVID time, especially, we added many people because 4 years back we decided to go aggressively in chronic side, right? Keeping that in mind, we added the strength, and we took COVID as an opportunity of hiring people, training people, or giving culture of mankind. That has really helped us.
And now that is the workforce optimum now, or you need to further increase your costs on ground field experts?
It's quite optimum, but I cannot say it has reached to the best place which we see. I see 5-7% kind of a more field can be added in future, but gradually on the basis of need, whenever we will enter any special chronic site therapy, then only, otherwise no.
Mr. Juneja, it's been a pleasure today talking to you. The Mankind Pharma IPO opens on April 25th, closes on 27th. Price between 1,026 to 1,080. It's an office of 4 crore shares where the promoters and some of the selling investors are offloading some of the shares worth 4,326 crores, giving the company a valuation of 43,263 odd crores at the upper end of the price band. If you've been watching, thank you very much for watching IPO.